I was born in Antwerp, Belgium on February the 11th, 1929. In 1933, when Hitler in Germany came to power, I already, as a young child, I was very young, and when Hitler came to power in 33, there was already a lot of talk about war. And then I was very young, I didn't understand, but in 39, when the Nazis occupied Belgium, it was very chaotic, it was nerve-wracking, it was dangerous, and we spent 3.5 years in an attic because my father was Jewish, and that was bad enough, but he was very big in the underground in Belgium. So we had to disappear from one day to the next. We had to go into hiding, which was arranged through the underground, and we were stuck in that attic for 3.5 years. The reason I didn't think we're gonna survive, we didn't think so much about that, except we were fearful that the Nazis would come, and we were always raised to hear this. That noise, that meant they're here to pick us up. And you live with that fear from morning to night. We always were fearful from morning till night. You live with this sound for 3.5 years. There was always a nervous feeling and vibes in the household. We're not alone, but my father being in the underground, we had to be very careful. You should have seen what we had to live with. It was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I was a teenager at the time, after a while, and I had to share a room with my grandfather. For a teenage girl, that was extremely difficult. My parents slept in the same room where everybody gathered. My brother slept in a closet. There was no bathroom. We didn't take a shower or a bath for 3.5 years. There was a faucet. That was the same water to wash yourself in, to brush your teeth in, and to cook. It was a little uncivilized, but to be alive. That's when I think about survival. I said, I'm gonna survive this, and I'm gonna have French fries after the war. That was my goal. Basic, just to be free. We were liberated by the Allies. The first people that liberated us were Canadians, then there were the English, and then the Americans. And I can remember very clearly, through a clandestine radio, we heard that the Americans have joined the Allies in 1942. And when we heard that on the radio, that's what my father said. Now we're gonna see the end of the war because the Yankees are coming. It took still another 2 years, but the war finally ended, and there was a feeling that I cannot express to you of freedom, and we were finally like the rest of the world. I was very lucky, but so was my family. We were not denounced. We survived hiding. They call us the forgotten children. It's not only 6 million Jews, 12 million people. They always talk about 6 million Jews. Let me tell you something. There were 6 million others that were killed like that in concentration camp. There was Jehovah's Witnesses, there were the gay people, there were people that were handicapped. I mean, the Catholics, priests and nuns. Let's not forget that. That's another 6 million people. There were people. And they were shot and killed and manipulated and lied to, and they had a horrible life just because they were not Aryans. I had a driver one time. He asked me where I came from, and I said Belgium, and he said, "Oh, you must were you there when the Nazis occupied your country?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "My church says that the Holocaust did not exist." When I left, I looked at him and I said, "Trust me, it existed." And the people that say it didn't exist, how did they think these people that put a stamp on their arm? And the movies, the documentaries. Not so long ago, I saw a documentary when President Eisenhower went to see a concentration camp, and that man's face, to me, wrote books. He didn't say very much, but that face was unbelievable. Yes, it existed. 12 million people can witness this, and they don't believe this. The diary of Anne Frank, to me, was extremely natural. That's how it probably was. It was not romanticized at all, because I make a comparison. You know, you had to be quiet in the day, you couldn't talk, you can't wear shoes because you make noises, you have to wear, no light. I got a little jealous when I saw the pictures of, she had a nice room with her sister and a little rug, and Frank didn't make it. The poor thing, she was in Bergen, that's a concentration camp, and she died of typhus. But she made it that far, and she was brilliant to write about it. That would have never occurred to me. One of the best movies that this country has produced from the war is not so much from the Holocaust, is when all these people came back to the States after being in the Army or Navy or wherever they were. And that was the best years of our lives. And that was one of the best war movies, I thought. Because everybody that's been in the war, they're heroes. What these people have done is unbelievable. An unbelievable group of people. Because I came to this country in 1955. So I was here in the 60s when there was this integration, segregation problem, which you don't learn in school where I went. It was disgraceful. After 10 years of Nazi occupation, you come to a new country and you can't sit on the bus where you want to, you can't go to a restaurant unless you have to sit where the white people go. You go to a movie, you have to sit downstairs, the darker people have to sit upstairs. And I said to my husband, what is that? All over again? Just another group? It's disgusting. I was here, I saw it. They were fighting in the streets, they were killing people, they were killing children. There were these two little girls, they went to Sunday school in Birmingham, and they were shot. Just because they're black little girls, what is this? With my congregation, I went to his funeral, and I had my flag half-mast, and I went to his funeral out of respect. And when I came back, and I lived in typical white suburbia, I call it white bread suburbia, somebody shot a BB gun in one of my windows. I never changed it, I left it there, because my flag was half-mast. I was the only one, and my next door neighbor was a Dutchman, and they made medical research at him in Auschwitz. And he had his flag half-mast, and we were the only ones. I was asked to give a speech in a college, and it was a diversified group. I was grateful for this. There were kids from India, there were black kids, there were white kids, you name it, and that was good. And I looked at the black kids, I said, do you ever talk to your grandparents? Your grandparents had to give a lot. They fought, they tried everything. It was not an easy life, it was disgusting. There is a rise in Europe and in this country of anti-Semitism and also racism. Will that go away? No, I don't think so. As long as there are people in the world from different backgrounds, we will always have that. And it starts at home. So there is hope. If possible, it would be ideal, but that's not practical, that young people should all go and get a good education. That's where it starts. Secondly, you need to travel. You need to know that you're not the only, although you live in a wonderful country, you still need to travel and see how other people live and understand. You don't always have to accept everything, but you have to try to understand what their goals are and what their cultural background was to be what they are today. I think it should be mandatory in school to learn about the Holocaust and what happened in this country in the 60s. It can happen again. I'm not a dreamer. That can happen again. And that only can happen if you can stop it the minute it starts. That when you see something going like that, to get it right then and there. Not let it grow. Not let it grow. Do something.